Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for tuning into PTV World. You watching World this morning. I happen to be Shahzad Khan. I'm really lucky that I've been joined by my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha, Rehan. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well, that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I'm feeling absolutely great, and a good morning to all the people that are watching. And usually we do try to start this morning show on a lighter note. However, last night some incidents unfolded, and unfortunately the story that we are bringing to you is very devastating. Israel decided to attack the capital of Qatar, of Doha, and in these strikes they definitely violated a lot of international laws.
Exactly, which is why multiple explosions rocked Qatar's capital Doha, sending plumes of smoke into the sky near areas housing several embassies. The Israeli military has confirmed it carried out a targeted strike against Hamas officials in the city. According to a statement from the Israeli army, the strike aimed at senior Hamas figures currently based in Doha. According to Al Jazeera, the attack specifically targeted members of the Hamas negotiating team who were meeting the deliberate on a U.S. brokered ceasefire proposal at the time of the attack. In response, the Qatari Foreign Ministry strongly condemned the attack, calling it a criminal act and a flagrant violation of all international laws and norms. The ministry said that the strike poses a serious threat to the security and safety of citizens of Qatar.
All right, and not just this, President Asif Ali Zardari has strongly condemned the recent Israeli attack on Doha, calling it an unacceptable violation of Qatar's sovereignty and a serious threat to regional peace. The president expressed deep concern over the loss of innocent lives and the atmosphere of fear created among the civilians due to the attack. He emphasized that such an aggressive action can undermine regional stability and cannot be tolerated under any circumstances. He reaffirmed Pakistan's unwavering support for the leadership and people of Qatar, stating that Pakistan stands in solidarity and with its brotherly nation during this critical time.
Exactly, which is why in addition to this, ladies and gentlemen, the Pakistanis in Pakistan actually condemns in the strongest possible terms the Israeli aggression against the brotherly country of Qatar. According to a statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the highly provocative and reckless action constitutes a blatant violation of Qatar's sovereignty, international law, the UN Charter, and established norms governing interstate relations. Pakistan expresses its complete solidarity with the brotherly state of Qatar against his unprovoked and unlawful aggression. This reckless action by Israel is yet another manifestation of its continued disregard for international peace and security and its policy of destabilizing the region. Pakistan has consistently maintained that such impunity must not be tolerated by the international community. It said, "We reaffirm our principled position in support of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar and call upon international community to hold Israel accountable. Pakistan will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with the brotherly people and the leadership of Qatar in defense of their national sovereignty and security." And to further speak about it, to further build up on it, and to speak about, how Israel has been continuing such blatant violations of the international laws, and not just that, human rights violations. We are very lucky that we've actually been joined by former ambassador. He happens to be Dr. Jameel Khan. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, and a very good morning to you. Great to be with you too.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Thank you so much for your time. So, sir, first things first, how do you see this situation building up in between Israel and Qatar?
Very pathetic, in fact, and it's a continuation of all what has been happening for the past several years, rather several decades. And since Israel was not checked, Israel was not made to follow the international law, and Israel was not forced under the United Nations Charter, Article 39 and 42, Chapter 7. Therefore, Israel feels that they can break any international law, no regard to international law, may it be International Criminal Court warrant, or may it be attack on Iran while the negotiation was in progress for the JCPOA, or attack on Ismail Hania. So since it went scot-free of violating the international laws, the sovereignty of the independent countries, the territorial integrity, so now Israel feels, and so long as Israel has the best of the best support and the strongest support of the most powerful country of the world, probably that will continue to do that. Despite the fact that White House has made a statement that Israel, it is an independent act of the Prime Minister of Israel, and Prime Minister of Israel also owned that he is the one who had ordered. But all previous such incidents and occasions, it gives us enough evidence that without the consultation at certain level with the U.S., the Israel could not have done that. Now, coming on the Qatar, Doha attack. Now, it's not only violated the international law, but it's violated the charter of the OIC. OIC was meant for the purpose that they would galvanize all the member states. They would come for the rescue of the member states if there is any violation of their sovereignty and territorial integrity, and that's what has happened just preceding night, and that's the total. And in fact, in the very preamble of the OIC Charter, para 16, it clearly states about the Palestinian cause, and Article 9 of the OIC Charter also stipulates very clearly that the head of state summit extraordinary could be called. I personally feel that today we'll hear from one of the member states of the OIC that they would be calling an extraordinary state. And the Prime Minister of Qatar has already said that they are now going beyond condemnation and they'll take the practical steps, which means that they would move the motion to the Security Council and they would move the motion to the General Assembly, which just started yesterday, the yearly session. So it appears that this time the international community, France, Germany, UK have already made a statement, not only condemned, but they have said that they would not allow the region to be destabilized.
That's fine, Dr. Saab. Dr. Saab, in addition to this, where we were talking about all of these statements, I think that one of the statements that we really need to read it out, to our audiences is that, that Netanyahu has sent a very clear message, and it is actually sent by the Foreign Ministry of the Doha to any country. So now they are saying that the Netanyahu has sent a very clear message to any country that engages in peace efforts, even those that help Israel when captives are taken, that mediators will be scapegoated, will not be safe, and there will be no respect for the sanctity of their job. If we are to say that, why is it that that it's only Doha which has been targeted? I think US has actually been playing a role of a mediator for Israel.
That's what the unfolding situation suggests. You're right there. And more importantly, now this very incident yesterday, a very serious incident, a very serious violation, right in the heart of the 57 member bloc of OIC. It has happened, and happened in a country which is so collaborative with the international community, happened with Qatar, which is so collaborative with the United States, and even has been facilitating the mediation, not only for Israel and Hamas leadership, but also Iran and other stakeholders. So if it happens with the mediators like that, then in that case, perhaps the warning which you have just mentioned issued by the Prime Minister of Israel, that is another challenge to the entire world community. That look, we can do whatever we want, and this takes my mind to one point, and that is 1897, once the foundation of Zionism was laid in Switzerland. At that time, they decided about the Greater Israel. And now, the Greater Israel map was shown by no one less than the Prime Minister of Israel. So now we'll have to really believe that that's the reality, and that's what is happening. It's starting from 1948, which was decided that there would be a separate state for the Zionist people. And then they made that in 48, and they had really pushed. They had knocked down about 554 villages and the cities of Palestine, and they captured that. They further pushed them in 1967. No one asked them anything. And the Security Council resolution passed that the occupied land during 1967 should be vacated by Israel. Israel has not done it. Rather, they have even further captured. Now, what is happening? Israel, what is the reason Israel has done this now? One, that they can go scot-free. Two, that they want to capture the entire Gaza in coming few days. It appears, if they are not checked after this incident, and which appears that they would not really be, there won't be any retribution for them. And if that not happen, if that is not happening,
And sir, not just that. I think I would want to kind of add on over here where I've been speaking about or quoting the Qatar's foreign minister. Now imagine that, that there's another statement where now Qatar actually says that obviously this will not deter Qatar from being a country that works towards peace, Al-Ansari added. Their foreign minister actually said that we will continue to work towards the peace. Do you think that it will still actually loom quite a lot of threat over Doha or Qatar if they continue with such peace talks?
That's right. And Prime Minister of Qatar has also very clearly has given the reaction, said that will respond to this aggression of Israel. And what way are they going to respond? There is only one legal way. And Qatar has already formed a legal team of their country to ascertain what way can they really respond to it. Respond means the military response is responded in a military way, responded in a measured way, and that measured way could be under Article 51 of United Nations Charter, and that any country whose territorial integrity is compromised and by another country, in that case they have the right to strike back. And although I really doubt that could happen that way, but at least there's something going to emerge. And what I'm anticipating that the head of state extraordinary session under Article 8 of the OIC is going to be called, and one of the members can do that. That is given enunciated in the charter of the OIC, and perhaps that meeting would be called the next few hours or maybe 1 or 2 days' time. The urgency demands that it should be called today, but let's hope that is done. Then they want the Qatar Prime Minister has said that this time they want to go beyond condemnation. I would kindly draw the attention of your viewers and yourself that every time there has been a meeting of the Council of Foreign Minister or the head of states, it was condemnation and condemnation.
All right. Thank you so much for summing that up for us. And let's circle back to the geopolitical tensions that are rising. So Netanyahu has claimed that Israel has acted independently. What does this say? What message does this receive to the world, right? They attacked on a sovereign U.S. allies' soil. They striked on the sovereign U.S. allies' soil. And not just this, the ambassador, Yaichel Leiter, the ambassador to Israel, to the Washington states, said that if we didn't get them this time, we will get them next time. This is the mindset that they have, that if we didn't get them this time, we will get them next time. So does this indicate that more future escalations are going to occur?
Made the announcement. In fact, the Prime Minister Netanyahu has already said that we would go after our enemies, and who are their enemies? We can understand, all Gazans and all Palestinians are their enemy, and that's why they have killed about 70,000 people, women, children, and innocent people included. So they can go after them anywhere in the world. So that's what the announcement made by the Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday, and the Foreign Minister or other ministers, I think now we will attach more importance to what the Prime Minister. This is the situation where Palestine is recognized by 149 countries. And despite that, Israel has no regard to that. That the world community is on the side of the humanity, on the side of aggression, this against the aggression. But they are going undeterred. And what I was mentioning a little while ago, in a historical perspective, that it's a great Israel.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. Dr. Saab, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for explaining it to us and how these tensions are actually going to have an impact on the region where there's been peace and stability. And I think it's time now for the world to kind of come together and make sure that we resort to Israel's blatant violation of human rights and international rights as well. And I hope and pray that, that for each and every one of us, that there will be a day that we're going to rise and probably kind of rise against all of these atrocities that Israel has posed towards Palestine, Gaza, and obviously the people of Doha and Qatar. So I praise God for all of those people who've actually been involved or martyred in such attacks. And in days to come, there will be more diplomatic ways to kind of solve and overcome these issues. We do hope and pray that United States of America will actually play a positive role to resolve and to put an end to Israel's blatant violations of all sorts of international violations that have taken place, or human rights violation, or the Charters of United Nations. And it's about time that we actually kind of make sure that we bring Netanyahu to the court of law and give them what he deserves. Now, it's very unfortunate for me because imagine that, 13 years back when I actually started with my morning show, Alhamdulillah World This Morning, or our morning show, it always used to be on very lighter notes, and the way that the world is changing now, it actually kind of gets to me at times that what is happening in the world. But it is certainly our responsibility as journalists to kind of make sure that we bring you all sorts of information, news articles, and how the world is changing every single day. But it is still devastating for the people of Pakistan, and it's because of the floods that have actually been caused by the monsoon downpour. And we hope and pray that in days to come that this monsoon downpour is actually going to stop, and that people of Pakistan who've been displaced or unfortunately have been killed within such devastating floods are actually going to, or their families are actually going to have a resolve for themselves, which is why now kind of taking a good look at how the situation is. If we are to speak about floods in Punjab rivers remain in severe flood stage as weather flow surges, with Punjab recording peak flow of 452,000 cusecs. The rivers in Punjab are still in flood as the flow of water has increased significantly to millions of cusecs. According to PDMA Director General Irfan Ali Katia, there is a very high level of flood in the Sutlej River passing through Ganda Singh Wala, with the water flow reaching to 261,000 cusecs. He said the Sutlej River is also in a high level of flood at the Sulemanki location, with the flow of 137,000 cusecs water. The water flow in the Chenab River at Marala is 69,000 cusecs, while there is a low level of flood at the Khanki headworks in the Chenab River with a flow of 180,000 cusecs. The water flow at the Kadrabad location in the Chenab River is in low level flood of 120,000 cusecs, while water flow at Head Trimon is 416,000 cusecs. The Panjab is in very high level flood with 452,000 cusecs water, while water flow at Ravi Jasar is 28,000 cusecs. Now, in addition to this, obviously we build upon it how the flooding in Punjab actually then moved on towards the South Punjab, and from South Punjab it is going to create a havoc, unfortunately, in Sindh, where a lot of in fact not rehabilitation, but I think relief activities have been taking place, evacuations have been taking place. Bilal Bhutto Zardari Sahab has actually been on top of it, and he truly kind of admits that that it needs to be Benazir income support program, which needs to be utilized to kind of help the people of Sindh, where severe urban flooding is expected in major cities of Sindh until 10th of September. Flash flooding is also expected in Nalla of DG Khan, Rajanpur, Dadu, Kambar, Shahzad Court, Jamshoro and Sindh Makran coast during the next 36 hours. Exceptionally high flood level will continue in River Sutlej at Ganda Singh Wala owing to release from Indian reservoirs. River Indus at Guddu is expected to attain high to very high flood level on 10th of September. The sole purpose of giving away this information is for people to kind of understand and then make sure that they plan accordingly, and if they have their family members or anyone that they can get in touch with, please make sure that you call them up and let them know that they might be in danger.
Exactly, and the massive impact of the floods engulfing Pakistan have reached international news, and we're very glad to get this reaffirmation and the support from international agencies, right? So the United Nations announced a $5 billion allocation from its Central Emergency Response Fund to support Pakistan's government-led flood response. The United Nations Emergency Relief Coordinator Tom Fletcher confirmed that the funding meeting was aimed at providing immediate humanitarian aid to millions affected by the devastating floods across the country. More than 4 million people have been impacted by the floods, with over 2 million displaced from their homes. The funds have enabled the UN agencies and partners to deliver critical relief, including safe drinking water, food, shelter, hygiene kits, mosquito nets, health services, and psychological support, as well as emergency cash assistance. Muhammad Yahya, the United Nations humanitarian coordinator in Pakistan, has praised the government's evacuation efforts but warned that communities continue to struggle. He said that funds helped the UN supplement the government's efforts in delivering life-saving aid in coordination with
Exactly,
local
and
NGOs.
I do believe that that this is the time where all of us Pakistanis, may it be expats or us people over here, that we really need to help the people who are actually in need, because we do have hundreds of thousands of people who have been displaced, their homes have been damaged, their livestock is damaged, their livelihood is at a crossroad of existential crisis. So I do believe that that it's the high time that all those Pakistanis who are out there, or people within Pakistan who are safe from the monsoon flooding, that we go out there and make sure that we help our Pakistani brothers and sisters. There's another way of helping economies or countries as well, and that is just how you have actually mentioned about United Nations. I think that another effective or impactful way, rather, Eesha, would be how two countries can come together.
Definitely,
now imagine that we've spoken about how Pakistan has been ascending at the diplomatic front. The current account balance has been $2.1 billion, and how we've been making the payments right before time as well. And I think Pakistan is doing well, alhamdulillah, but it's the collaborations that we make sure are in place, with other countries, so that there can be business-to-business ideologies which can be discussed, and platforms where people could actually execute trade or maybe trade routes. Now imagine that this lady that I'm going to introduce actually happens to be the president and founder of the Greek-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It has been all over the news just yesterday as well, where how she has actually signed memorandums of understanding with Karachi Chamber of Commerce, with Lahore Chamber of Commerce, Islamabad Chamber of Commerce, and how Pakistan and Greece can be at a crossroad of a business-to-business development. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by Ms. RUBINA, MARKOPOULOU. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Great, and thank you for this invitation. I'm happy to be with you.
Thank you
so much for joining us today. It makes us really happy that Pakistan and Greece are embarking on this new economic journey together. And for people who probably don't follow the trade or economic news very closely, what would you have to say regarding the MOUs being signed between Pakistan and Greece? Why are they so important?
So they are very, very important because they open a communication between our two communities, mostly business trade communities. So by signing with all the chambers, the main chambers in Pakistan, which is Peshawar, Lahore, Gujarat, Karachi, Pak Afghan, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, actually with everybody. I'm communicating the information to all the Greek chambers, the local Greek chambers. So that opens ways of communication and trade between us. Pakistan being the crossroad for Central Asia, South Asia and Middle East, and Greece being the crossroad for Mediterranean and Europe. So together, connecting together, we open really platforms for trade and business, which can bring our people together as well.
Exactly, and we will certainly build up on that. But I think one of the most interesting things that I came across while I was prepping, of how to actually interview you, I came across this term, Greek-Pakistani Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and you happen to be the president and founder of it. Why do you think that you actually came across this idea, number one, or was it the Pakistani diaspora in Greece who made you think like that?
Yes, definitely. The Pakistani diaspora in Greece made me think about that, because that is a very big link between Greece and Pakistan. Those people there, they have families, they have trade, they have friends. So there is a lot of going on in Greece in regards to Pakistani, and a big question was going on, how can we link together? So that was one of the things that made me think about Pakistan. Another one is that I have very good friends in shipping. Greeks in shipping are one of the best in the world. So they have been telling me since years that we are going to Pakistan and we are doing business with Pakistan. So that was a great also opportunity to go towards that. And then I had a good discussion with your ambassador there, and he was telling me that he would like to strengthen the ties between our two countries. So I was invited by your government through the ambassador and some journalists And then they started helping me for the MOUs. And then when I came back to the Greek government, they were also very happy to open trade and business communication with Pakistan.
Exactly, and it's always more about, you know, complementary strengths. Now imagine that, you know, where we've spoken about how Greek is actually strengthened in shipping, logistics, energy and tourism. Let's speak about Pakistan with the strengths in textiles, agriculture and skilled workforce. How do you think that, you know, that Pakistan and Greece will be at a crossroad where they'll be complementing each other with such business to business activities taking place?
Well, firstly, for example, Greece is very important for tourism. We have the biggest industry for us is tourism, and we need a lot of young manpower. So, unfortunately, our youth is not that important as manpower, and we don't have so much youth as you have. So, we take people from your country to work and support our industry. Then we have the shipping community who can transport your goods, agriculture, food. So through our ships, the goods can go all over the world. Then we have also cultural ties. I don't know, maybe it's very important to say that Islamabad was done and designed by a Greek architect.
Yep.
So we have cultural ties. So those cultural ties can be also explored a little bit more and can make ties.
Well, do you think that we, or probably, you know, would you want to kind of shed some light on how, whether, you know, Pakistan and Greece has already collaborated, speaking about agriculture, food exports, technology and shipping?
Yes, of course. Greece is importing huge quantities of rice from Pakistan, for example. And then Greece is about to export olive oil. And also Greece is about to help Pakistanis to inject your olive trees that are quite wild so that you can produce your olive oil. So there is already some cooperation starting from both sides. Then, as I said already, we do legalize and bring legally people, manpower to work for us. So things have started to move, but we are looking towards the future also. It's a startup.
Definitely. Thank you so much for highlighting all those points. And speaking of this, one of the key points of the agreement between Pakistan and Greece was that it's going to help the Pakistani exporters enter the European and Mediterranean markets. So how is this going to be a game changer for us? Have we not tapped into these markets before? I'm really not aware.
And how do you think it will help, you know,
Greece,
Greece likewise to enter into the Asian market?
Yeah, well, firstly, you have a quite low labor cost, so you have a lot of products that can be exported to Greece and through Greece to Europe. So one idea is that many of those products can come to Greece and get a European label, which is very important for your products to be expanded.
Definitely.
Now, from the Greek side, we have very good engineers, architects, construction companies. So. Now you have a lot of construction going on in Pakistan. Also, you're opening infrastructure with routes and ways for transportation. So Greek companies are about to come to Pakistan and cooperate with Pakistani companies for this know-how. So these are very huge sectors opening now.
Wonderful.
That's so great to hear. And not just this, but you have emphasized on the collaboration between renewable energy and agriculture solutions, right? So why does Pakistan really need this right now? We're seeing the devastating consequences of the floods and everything that is going on. So how do you think that the crisis of the energy and food security are going to be challenged and addressed?
Well, the Greek government is very, very much sensitive about all what's happening, the climate changes. So our Prime Minister announced a huge amount of money to be invested, not to Greece, because in Greece we don't have big problems, but through Greece all over the world to help give solutions for those floods and all those climatic changes.
And obviously it's beautiful, but you know, obviously that's something, you know, which we were talking about business to business, you know, the memorandums of understanding which has been undertaken by the GPCCI, made by all the chambers of Pakistan, and how it will actually open avenues for people, you know, who belong to industry and business community, and even likewise for people back home in Greece. Now, let's come down to, is it your first visit in Pakistan?
No, actually it's about my 10th visit.
10th visit,
wow.
wonderful. So let's speak about how your visit has been in Pakistan, and what have you been eating, and whether you've loved it over here or not.
Yeah, I love to be here. People are very friendly, very open, intelligent, and they have international...
Thank you so much.
It's totally, you know, it's not a compliment, it's the truth.
Yeah.
and you're very open-minded and intelligent people with an international mindset, which is very important.
I think
Alright.
it's wonderful and beautiful as well. But let's come down to if you have tried our biryani or pie or nihari and you know all of the
And the
cuisines that
mithas,
Pakistan
the
has to
desserts,
offer and the fruits and the desserts. Let's go.
Yes, everything is wonderful, and especially your fruits. They're so smelly and so natural. It's something we miss in Europe, you know.
Exactly.
And Rubina, just to maybe talk about your journey, right? So you are a woman leading in the business industry, you're leading in the economic industry, and you spoke in the makeup room that touched my heart a little, was that how you as a female are leading this cause, right? So the Pakistani Chamber of Commerce is basically the Pakistani Chamber of Commerce of businessmen, but you are a businesswoman thriving in this industry. So please let us know how your journey unfolded.
Well, actually, I started from very young. You know, it's like something which is into my genes because I come from a very important business family, which comes back to generations and generations. So actually, it's a big pleasure to be in that field. And I should say that, especially Pakistani people, Pakistani men in chambers, they address to me with a great respect. And I am so happy to be among them. I don't feel the difference, you know, being a woman or a man. I don't feel that difference. It's all about mindset and mind communication, and they are wonderful, really.
Exactly, that's great. Thank you
That's
so
great.
much, Rubina Markopoulos, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you, and we wish you and for all of those people from Pakistan, best of luck as well. There are more avenues opening up, and it's for people of Pakistan to kind of make sure that they do well in all sorts of fields. With that, we're actually heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when you come back, let's speak about how climate change has had a devastating impact on Pakistan and the floods that we see in Pakistan, and what do we need to do to kind of come out of it, because every year we do see such floodings over here in Pakistan. What to do is something which is coming your way after a short break. Good morning, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to all the people who stay tuned to watch World This Morning on PTV World. Before this, we were just talking about how Pakistan and Greece are collaborating on the economic forefront, and that makes our hearts really, really happy, right? But now coming to the fact of the matter, the topic at hand, that is how Pakistan is engulfed in devastating rains and floods. But before we touch and dive into this topic, I think we need to break down some international news regarding how the world is collaborating on the economic forefront. So just start on a lighter note, Japan has launched Asia's first osmotic power plant, which actually generates electricity by mixing fresh water with salt water. This plant is the second of its kind worldwide, following one in Denmark that opened in 2023. Japan's version is larger and marks a step forward for the little used but promising renewable energy resource. The plant will generate around 880,000 kilowatt hours of electricity per year, enough to help run a nearby distillation facility and supply around 220 homes. That sounds so fascinating, and we really hope that probably the Japani engineers might come to Pakistan and help us create this
and it's
amazing
certainly
power
so
plant.
good to see, you know, making sure that that you're doing all of these news articles flawlessly. So
Thank
it's
you so
wonderful.
much.
Congratulations. China has launched now. Moving on towards another one where how we will be witnessing sensing satellites, because China has launched a new remote sensing satellite from the Wenchang spacecraft, a launch site in the southern island or province of Hainan. The Yaogan 45 satellite aboard a modified Long March 7 Korea rocket has entered the preset orbit successfully. It will be mainly used for scientific experiments, land resource surveys, crop yield estimates, and disaster prevention and relief work. The launch was the 594th flight mission of the Long March Korea rocket series. Now, coming back to Pakistan's weather as well, where we've spoken about a satellite by Sparko, which can actually give us all such sort of information. But what is happening? How do you think that climate change is actually creating or probably causing a havoc or devastating floods in Pakistan is something that we would need to talk about. We're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. AFTAB Alam, who happens to be a climate activist. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Good morning. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Wonderful to
pleasure.
have you over here. We're in your class today. Please go ahead, take us through. And how do you think climate change is actually changing the way that we've been living in Pakistan?
Yeah, thank you very much. Pakistan has been the global hotspot of climate injustice. We are basically facing the consequences of the sins we have not committed. We have a contribution of nearly 1% or less than 1% of greenhouse gases which create climate change, but we are among the top impacted countries. For example, if we look at the monsoon patterns in the last 5 years, 1 year it is just 40% above the normal, and the next year it's 9% below the normal. I'm talking about 20 and 21. In 22, it broke all the record and reached 175%, and so on. And if we take the recent example of August, the first 10 days of August had rainfall below 50% below the normal. But the very next days, from 11th to 20th of August, they shot 50 to 60% above normal. So these kind of stark variations in weather are result of climate change. One recent study by the Imperial College London with scientists from Pakistan, UK, Sweden and other countries, Netherlands, they have reconfirmed that this exceptional continuation of spells, we have 10 spells of monsoon, normally we have 4 to 6, but here we have 10 and another one is expected in the next few years. So I think these are the devastation of climate change, and the good thing is that Pakistani government and Pakistani people and different organizations and departments are doing their best. But we need climate finance, technical and financial cooperation from the global world, because this has become a continuous fight against climate change for all.
Thank you so much, sir, for stating that. Now, imagine, I do agree with you where how we really need to kind of tap on the global climate finance, which is out there. But for that, people really need to be kind of smart. And I think that it needs to be a message out there where they should actually know how to tap on it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we've not been able to tap on it. And there's a reason that we have not been coming up with such conclusive planning and policies which will actually kind of help us with the climate finance. How do you think that Pakistanis can actually work on that?
I think the good thing is that in the last 5 years, we have made very good policies.
Okay.
For example, we have revised our climate change policy in 2021. We have brought our climate adaptation plan in 2023. And different provinces have also brought their climate change policies. The most important thing is to go to the implementation. And I think there we have to improve. And when we will be implementing these policies, we will be coming up with much stronger and capable, bankable projects. And I think it's very important to tap the resource, the huge resource of youth that we have throughout the country. And we can do two things. One, to build their capacity, to strengthen their initiatives, to involve them in policy making and implementation process. And one thing more, we have to bring climate change into each and every discipline of universities, education and other secondary education.
We do
So I think that is very important. And I have gone to over 20 universities where I have motivated faculty, students. And by the way, I'm also guiding one of the students from Greece.
Wonderful. I think that's great, sir.
On climate change.
But sir, there is one more important aspect which I would want to speak about, me and Eesha, every time that we come across, because imagine that for the last, I think 1.5 or 2 months, it's sad for us to be over here every day speaking about how families are being rescued, how they've been
Neighborhoods are collapsing.
hundreds and thousands of people have been evacuated, people who've been gone missing, people who have died. How do you think, so policy is one thing. We really need to kind of make sure that we are stronger on ground as well. If we do know that we're one of those countries which are most vulnerable to climate change, how do you think that we can build climate resilient infrastructures? Because that's the kind of conversation which I don't see happening anywhere in Pakistan as of now.
I think this is a wonderful question. I think we need at least 2 to 3 things, and they are administrative measures, and they need less finances and more administrative powers. For example, if we do if we remove all the barriers, the residential and commercial constructed places from the riverbeds and from nalas, both in cities and in rural areas, I think that can save huge resources. And the good thing is, I think the best thing in this monsoon spell is that our Prime Ministers and his team is constantly saying that no more construction in the riverbed, no more construction in the nalas and in the low-lying areas. I think implementation on them would be a brilliant thing for Pakistan to be resilient against climate change.
Thank you so much for highlighting that. And we have talked about climate change, but what about climate justice? Time and time again, we have talked on this show about how Pakistan has contributed less than 1% to the carbon emissions of the world, but now we are facing the brunt end of the stick. And just this summer, right, 48 degrees Celsius was reached, which led to the glaciers melting, and now the heavy amount of rainfall we are receiving in September. So it sounds so absurd saying there is monsoon going on in September. So can you please highlight what we can do as the citizens of Pakistan to combat this? You talked about how you've been going to different universities and educating students regarding climate, being climate resilient and climate change, and practicing the good practices to lead us to a better Pakistan.
I think this is a wonderful question once again. Before coming to that question, I would like to, because you talked about climate injustice and justice, I would talk that what we are, of course, what we should do, but what the world should do. I think at this point of time, the world is making their carbon reduction plans.
All right.
The deadline, initial deadline was February. It was extended to September, October, and so far only 16% countries have submitted their carbon reduction plans. I think what Pakistan need to do at the global front, we need to push together with other allies so that the greenhouse gas reduction from the top emitters must come down so that the factory of climate change creation is stopped or slowed down. Secondly, in terms of us, I think we have to be much more smarter nation. For example, we should be aware that we should not go to the low-lying areas. We should not buy plots in the low-lying areas. We should buy our plots for our houses to spend our lifelong earning in better and resilient places.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir. AFTAB, sir, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from the experts as well. Until next time, look after yourselves. Good morning. Have a good day.